explain what this 51% rule is. So you've got an aircraft. The person lays down, writes you a check. They begin this process. How much of this aircraft do they actually physically have to build, and what are they getting? Are they getting all of the components that you just have to sort of bolt and rivet together, glue together? How do you envision your aircraft being made available to your first customers?
You just described it in
Okay.
exactly the same way as all experimental aircraft manufacturers today utilize builder assistance programs. There's a matrix that the FAA requires that the owner builder follows and certifies that he or she, checks off the list, touched this component, laminated that component onto, and installed this part, and had his hand in connecting wiring harnesses and putting the landing gear on and so on. It used to take several hundred hours, 600-800 hours, sometimes 1,000 hours,
Yeah.
of one man's time in his garage to build a 2-seater, 4-seat experimental aircraft. That's cut down to less than half. In many cases, less than a quarter of that time with fast build kits like we provide. We produce a fast build kit that, with a builder assistance center and 2 or 3 assistants, it's all part of the package, by the way, one can have completed in just a couple of months.
So where are you at with respect to actually delivering that first kit? When can we expect the first customer to take delivery?
We have 10 kits left on the shelf now. We're taking orders already.
Oh, okay, excellent. So who has
our builder assistance center in Florida?
Where are these being? I mean, is there somebody here nearby I can go see? Who are you delivering to?
Well, we have customers that have already placed orders and put down deposits on the East Coast. We have customers that have placed orders from South America. We have customers that have placed orders from California and Oregon, and we have a lot of inquiry and interest coming in fast. So I suspect that the parts that we have on the shelf now, we pre-produced to create a dozen aircraft several months ago, knowing that the demand for this is going to spike pretty quickly. I think those will all be spoken for, by the time Oshkosh comes around, and we're going to have to get busy, making more parts for, another 20 or 30 aircraft to complete and deliver through 2013.
Okay. Are there any special requirements for somebody that should, obviously, if they're going to build it and fly it themselves, they need to obviously have a pilot's license. I'm assuming it's a single engine. You wouldn't need obviously multi-engine or anything like that. So we're talking about a basic private pilot, this skill-wise?
I'd say basic private pilot is not experienced enough. A private pilot who's freshly minted, who just got his or her pilot's license, would need some substantial transition training.
Okay.
This is a very, very, very fast airplane, and things happen in a hurry in traffic and traffic patterns and so on when you start to step outside of a Cessna 152.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, I mentioned earlier, the most important thing that we can do, and what we think about and what we work towards every single day, is making the safest general aviation aircraft ever to fly in the skies. So part of our program is not just integration of technology, not just making cockpit workload less, but transition training and ongoing integration of new technology as it evolves with our owner builders. So whenever a pilot comes to us and says, I want one of those aircraft, we pre-qualify them based on their skill level. It's a fairly high-priced piece of equipment to begin with, but that's not as relevant as the pilot's ability to enjoy it to its fullest and to get the most use out of this engineering and technology. And that takes training. So we're pretty adamant about that. if a pilot comes to us and insists on buying and owning one, and he or she may have a lot of money, that's not all that it takes. It takes a fairly high skill level to get the most out of this aircraft and to maintain our reputation and the aircraft's reputation, the technology's reputation as safe.
Right. So you're talking what? You probably at least several hundred hours flying time, if not more.
It's all subjective, obviously.
Yeah.
There are pilots out there that are naturally talented and have become a good stick at 100 hours or 200 hours, and there are pilots out there, sorry to say, that have thousands of flight hours and that are a danger to themselves and others.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where I fall in that category with my measly 125 hours anymore. So
it's really up to transition training from an instructor who is deeply familiar with the aircraft and systems, right? And to train the owner, the pilot, the owner builder, and the operator to understand the systems and safety features of this aircraft to be able to not only maximize the technology in it, but to behave properly and make the right decisions quickly in any emergency situation.
right now, do you guys? This seems like an obvious question. I don't know if I haven't asked yet. Do you guys actually have a completed aircraft that you've flown, you're familiar with, and so when somebody comes and needs instruction on flying this aircraft, you've already got X number of hours in your own aircraft?
The aircraft, as originally designed, has several thousand hours on it, and multiple production units have been built. The integration of our aviation drive system has been occurring not only in this particular airframe, but in other prototype airframes over the last several years.
Okay.
Taxi testing, static thrust testing, wide range of pressure. Temperature conditions testing has been accomplished. We expect to, with the final version of the aviation drive, get the Volta Volare GT4 up for test flying before the end of spring as we roll into summer.
Okay, so you're pretty close then to actually breaking ground then, air-wise, and actually getting it up into the air and testing it. So you've actually got people who are ordering aircraft, and this thing is still in prototype stage then.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Kind of cool. Look, well, Paul, let's see. Anything else I need to ask you while I've got you here? Oh, yeah. The only I've seen like 2 illustrations of the aircraft. Are there any photos or anything like that are available beyond that illustration that we could use to help illustrate this?
Absolutely. We can send you all the high-res images that you want.
All right. That would be great. Thank you. Well, I appreciate your taking the time, and boy, I got to get to Oshkosh here sometime, and maybe this year in Oshkosh. We'll see.
Well, it's about time. When was the last time you were there?
Never.
Well, you should.
And I'm
really,
500 miles from it. So, hey, I've got a suggestion. As you fly out with the aircraft, leave one seat open, pick me up, and take me. I'm right on the way.
Okay, done. Hopefully, we'll have multiple ships heading that way for display this year. But I can't make any promises to that. We have so much work to do, and it's really, we don't really need to do a lot of promotion at air shows of this type of aircraft. Really, most of our work goes into incorporating this technology in such a way that this is the safest aircraft ever to be built. It's not about promotion. The airplane sells itself. It's pretty obvious. So you haven't heard about us for quite a long time, but we've been operating under the radar for several years with the windows at the hangar literally painted out black, and a sign out front that says Area 52, because one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a technology integrator and a technology innovator and an aircraft manufacturer is to go out too soon, right?
Yep.
And the demands on the engineering team based on marketing and product demand just become so high that you start to have to make sacrifices and compromises, and I, as a CEO and chief pilot, will not do that, ever.
So what's your capacity? How many, if you start getting, orders coming in, what do you think your annual capacity would be of producing kits and helping people get them built?
Through 2013, we expect 36 to maybe 40 or more.
Okay, very good.
There is a factory here in Oregon, up in Central Oregon, in the beautiful town of Bend, that at one time was owned by Columbia and now Cessna, that is available with 170,000 square feet production under roof. That when the time comes for certification and mass production, that type of facility would work for us, because I think as this technology evolves, we'll be in the hundreds per year production expectation requirement, but not just us. See, this is important, Bill. If I may add something, I know you're running low on time, but what we really represent is not just new technology integrated into an aircraft to make airplanes better, but we represent a demonstration platform that requires EV technology to perform in challenging conditions, right?
Yep.
So we have also already started and are putting a lot of resources and bringing a lot of smart people together into an organization, a 501c3, that we call the Aero Innovation Institute. The Aero Innovation Institute and Volta Volare itself really is not so much about making the most efficient and safest airplane ever to fly, but it's about furthering the technology and helping that be applied to automotive and consumer electronics, of course.
Yeah.
And making this world a better place. You see, for every pilot and every general aviation enthusiast, there are 100,000 other citizens of the world that need this technology to evolve, and that's what we represent. So I'm grateful and to be involved in this, and I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, because I love airplanes, I love aviation.
Yeah.
It's my passion, and that goes for all of our team. But it's important to note that we're here to further the technology in the EV sector. We just happen to do it with wings as opposed to wheels.
Yeah, I love it. Great. All right. Well, hey, well, keep me posted. And like I said, if you get an opportunity to have an empty seat on your way to Oshkosh, I'd be happy to fill it. All right. Thanks a lot.
We'll be careful to keep the blue side up.
You betcha. Absolutely. Okay. Thanks a lot, Paul. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bill.